Oh, wow. That's really bad.
That was a really bad joke.
If you didn't catch that joke, why don't people eat their wristwatches? Because it's too time-consuming. That was an Eric.
Yes, it was.
Ba-dum-bum. Okay.
Is it bad joke day? Is it?
I'm surprised none of you guys even commented that my goatee is gone.
Oh, yeah, it is gone.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Your goatee's done. You know what, though? You haven't shaved.
I haven't shaved all week. I shaved for Monday
Right.
for a costume
No
for
shave
Halloween.
November.
So
No,
what-
I'm shaving.
What did you wear for Halloween?
We ended up going with all the women in my art department were
Oh,
cats,
that's right. You were
and
the
I was the
crazy
crazy
cat
cat
lady.
lady.
Yeah, okay. Remember now.
So now I'm growing it back. I'll shave this weekend and I'll leave the one area and let it grow back. By next week I'll have it back.
I thought maybe we were just doing no shave November like
No.
everybody else.
No shit.
I don't ever do it. I don't like no shave November.
What? I don't know.
I itch. It itches way too much if I go like
Maybe
a
he
week.
has a problem with prostate cancer like everybody else. I don't know.
No.
Eric's like, I'm all for prostate cancer, so we're good.
Some people may have a problem with it, but I am in full support.
Okay.
I'll start the movement of shaving for November.
Shave your head for November.
Yeah.
It's damn cold outside. What the heck? Yeah, but we got to figure out what we're going to support with that. T-virus inception.
No.
Tonight's podcast is brought to you by Fanta.
Is that copyrighted? Are we going to get in trouble?
No, I'm trying to get them as a sponsor.
Oh, okay.
As long as we're not getting paid, we're good.
And KFC.
You know what? We're all broke anyway, so it's okay. Okay. You guys ready?
No.
Ready.
I'm never ready.
Now I have to start over. Thank
No,
you.
you don't.
I do.
It
Your-
wasn't even
The
there.
wave was there. I could see it. Let's try that again.
Yeah, the wave was there.
Hi.
No, watch me. Oh my gosh.
Woosah.
Don't do that.
Do what?
Okay.
She's in a giggly mood tonight, people.
Yay.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Galaxy Cast. I have a full studio with me tonight. I have with me Eric the Artist.
Greetings.
I have with me Tara the Inquisitor.
Hi.
And I have with me Gary the Stud.
That's me.
So we have several things we're going to talk with you tonight. First thing we're going to talk about is the new WonderWoman trailer. We just thought that would be a kind of a fun topic for us to go off topic with a little bit.
In her satin tights, fighting for her rights.
Wow, that's new. And we're going to talk about the rumors about Luke Skywalker's Episode 8 costumes.
Again with satin tights.
And then we're going to end off with some fun. We saw some new clips from Star Wars A New Hope from something called Filmumentaries. We're going to talk about those really quick and discuss what we saw, which was actually kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Wonder Woman, probably one of the most anticipated DC films since Dawn of Justice, Batman versus Superman has come out.
Wonder
Okay,
Woman movie
so
since Dark
the fact
Knight
that it's-
Rises.
The fact that it's the next movie, does that make it the most anticipated since?
Well, no, I say it's the most anticipated because a lot of people blew off Suicide Squad and didn't
okay,
see it
I'm-
as part of it,
okay,
as a big
yeah.
deal, part of the DC universe. But they were kind of like waiting for Wonder Woman as being a big deal.
Well, Wonder Woman's a big deal also because it's a female-led movie, which
Right.
they've been waiting for someone to do one.
So we got a chance to watch the second trailer. This is trailer 2, right? If I'm getting that correctly, for Wonder Woman. So thoughts on the second trailer? Did you guys like it? Were there things you liked about it? Were there things you didn't like?
I really like the theme that they're going with. Like, it's not a normal theme. It's like a hardcore rock, like, punk theme, I guess you can say. Like,
You're talking about the theme music?
yeah.
Okay. So you like the theme music.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't any different from the first one, I don't believe, because they used that at
No,
the end
and
of
it
the
was
first one, too.
even in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, when she showed up, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they used that theme when she
Yes.
showed up. So kind of interesting. At least they're keeping that,
Yeah.
that punk rock feel to it. Gary, anything in this that bothers you about, you know what I mean? We keep coming back to the Wonder Woman trailer. Anything in it that you like? Anything that bothers you?
I guess what I liked the best about it was her just climbing the ladder out of the trenches and
And fighting off the bullets and everything.
Yeah, that was a nice moment.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Her using the lasso of truth and it glowing up. I was just...
Okay.
And the fact that her bracelets are actually
like
bracers.
bracers,
Yeah.
metal bracers, as opposed to like a leather one, which they could have gone with. And
Well, she only had little bracelets in the
Right.
TV show and all that. So
yeah,
How accurate her costume is, I would say, is a pretty good thing too.
so you like the costume?
Yeah.
It's definitely. Don't you guys think this is very New 52 inspired? I mean,
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it's got
that
like
feel, the
this
lines.
50. I was gonna say it's got the lines, the body armor feel to
But
it
it's
on the
accurate.
front. It is. It's fairly accurate to the New 52.
and the fact that she has a shield and a sword too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that we didn't ditch the shield and sword just yet. you
I
know?
like when she like had the sword in her dress and was like walking into
That-
the party. That was
yeah.
kind of interesting.
It was interesting, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, where's the rest of the sword? You know what I mean? Like it goes
Down
down.
the back.
Well, I know, but the back line of that dress is pretty deep plunging. So I'm kind of like, is it in her butt crack? Like, where did that sword go? Like, you know,
She's Wonder Woman. She's got buns of steel, so she could hold on to it.
it's a wonder where it
I
went.
was just about to say, was it Chris Pine that's playing her?
Yeah.
He's going,
Captain Kirk.
so, where does that sword go? Actually, the one scene I kind of liked with her was her grabbing the guy with the whip and yanking him up and
Yeah.
slamming him down. I
Yeah,
thought that was
yeah.
pretty, actually kind of a cool little
Just the fact
scene.
that the
Although we don't
lasso
know who
goes
the
up.
guy is that does it.
Yeah, they edited it enough that it even slowed down or paused. You couldn't really make out who she was slamming down.
So, all right, let's get to the kind of the meats of the trailer that everybody's kind of dying to know, and I still don't think we really do know, and that is who is the bad guy in Wonder Woman. Because I mean, we've seen a lot of Wonder Woman, we've seen a lot of Chris Pine, but we have not seen a lot of anybody else. So there's a lot of speculation going around on the internet right now that the woman in the trailer who has kind of the weird, I don't know, how would you describe that?
This is the same issue we had with Suicide Squad in that they weren't telling you who the bad guy was of the movie. Think of
Right.
how different that is from Marvel. Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Right.
I think we know who the villain
It's
is.
in the title.
Yeah, Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Right.
It's like, oh, I think we know who the villain is. It's like, they pretty much make a point of who their villains are and tout them as like a forward part of their marketing campaign.
Right.
Well, I mean, everyone in I think Marvel knows who like all the villains are in general.
Right,
So
but-
if they do that, then they give people.
But then you've got big villains in the DC universe.
That
You've
you could
got
be
you
tapping
could be
on.
tapping on and touting these people as your big bad, and yet it seems to be a conscious marketing choice to hide them now with each movie and not reveal who they are.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, Gary, is that a good idea or no?
I think it's bad because a lot of the movies I want to go see is for the villain.
I agree with you. I am villain centric when it comes to my movies. So if it's Captain America movie, I want to know who the villain is, because if it's some wimpy villain, it may not motivate me to go see that movie. Whereas, like, I knew the Red Skull was in the first one. I'm like, I'm all over
There's
that.
no
you
way
know?
the Red Skull wouldn't be in the first.
Well, I
one.
mean, it could have been Baron Zemo. It could have been like they could have
Yeah.
made some other choices, but
Could have been Adolf Hitler.
it could
Love to
have
see
been.
him punch him.
Yeah.
It could have been. But I mean, like the fact that I knew it was Red Skull, the fact that I knew Ultron was going to be in the Avengers. I mean, there's certain things that draw me into those movies. Just like even with cruddy Marvel movies, I went and saw the first Fantastic Four, not the latest one, because Doctor Doom was in it, and I
Yeah.
liked
Yeah.
Doctor Doom. That's what drew me into Fantastic
It's a
Four.
really good Dr.
I was like,
Doom.
hey, Fantastic Four, okay, I know who they are, but Doctor Doom, I wanted to see what they were going to do with Doctor Doom. To me,
Yeah.
the villain's the character that could actually be the interest of the story, not the other way around. I was interested to see what they would do with Doomsday when it came to Batman versus Superman. Not that Batman and Superman were awful, but I wanted to see. For me, the draw was Doomsday and a little bit of Wonder Woman, but it was Doomsday. I wanted to see what they were
Right.
going to do with Doomsday. I mean, I have to admit the villain.
Which little bit of Wonder Woman was the draw for you?
Well, when we saw the trailer, no, I see now. Now they're trying to make me all sexist. Y'all see how this works?
Well,
No.
here's a problem though I have. By hiding their villain, it mostly looks like the villain in this movie, and in many of the scenes they show, it's Wonder Woman fighting
The Germans.
The Germans, or the bad guys of World War One.
Are we making Germany the villain?
Well, and here's the thing: she's in a room fighting them with a sword.
Yeah.
She's out in the battlefield fighting them with weapons. There's other sequences of her doing it. There's her with the sword at a party. It makes me think she's walking in to assassinate someone. And
you got the whole German army attacking the island of the Amazons.
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
well, you've got to see it.
Yeah.
Is it the Germans showing up? I wasn't sure.
It was.
It was.
Or was
Yeah.
it people coming to rescue Chris Pine and there was a misunderstanding?
No.
I have to look again, but anyway.
But I look at the uniform, I'm pretty sure it's the
So anyway,
Germans.
you've got these humans, though. You've got typical people, which is guns, taking on, and we saw, you guys saw, I still haven't seen the movie, but I understand, Wonder Woman is a major power player in Batman versus Superman. She holds her own with those, with a Superman level strength character and stuff like that. So to see her all of a sudden being like, well, I'm going to go into a room with 5 guys with guns and it's supposed to be an exciting action sequence as I fight them, feels like they've suddenly way powered her down.
Right.
And there is a shot in this, and it's supposed to be one of the dramatic shots where someone fires a gun, the bullet passes between her and Chris Pine. It's obviously taking out one of the Amazons. We assume it might be her sister or someone important.
maybe her mother.
Or her mother,
Yeah.
someone being taken out. And it's obviously going to be this dramatic scene that changes Wonder Woman's view and, all that stuff. Well, Chris Pine goes to save her from the shot, and he tackles her.
Yeah.
There's a shot of him landing on top of her, pushing her down to the sand. No, it'd be like crashing into a brick wall and just collapsing with a broken jaw. It's like they don't know where to power her at. Now, maybe there'll be an excuse for it. Maybe there'll be a reason. Maybe by the end of the movie, she will be granted something that ups her level way high, so she is at Batman versus Superman level.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
She leaves the planet or the island and gets bathed in the yellow sun. And gets,
But it's gonna need to be something like that to get her to make sense of why she's so different
Well,
levels.
maybe she doesn't have her powers on the island, and then she has them off the island. And
Yeah, but she's off the island just fighting a bunch of Germans in a room with guns.
Right.
You'd think that'd be like nothing.
with a lot of power. I mean,
Put Superman in a room with 4 guys. Do you think there's any interest in watching that scene beside him just sitting there reading a newspaper while they all empty their guns at him? And it's not the same.
Yes, because all 4 guys could empty the guns at him and then throw the guns at him, and then he ducks.
Yeah,
right. Then he does.
like the old what was his name?
George Reeves.
Yeah, George Reeves ones where they'd shoot at him and bullets would just be bouncing off and they'd chuck a gun at him and be like, "Whoa, don't do that! Don't throw a gun at me!" But yeah, so there has to be reasoning behind this. If there's not in the movie, then they're clearly not thinking this through.
Do you guys think this just completely dispels the rumor now that Wonder Woman was going to be Kryptonian?
Yes.
Because remember, all the way back to...
What was the question now?
Does this dispel the rumor that Wonder Woman was supposedly going to be Kryptonian?
No, because what Eric is saying, on the island, she don't have the powers.
Okay.
When she gets off the island, that's when she gets the powers.
Maybe.
Which is what
we
I-
don't know.
Maybe.
Which is what I was kind of alluding at when she comes off the island. She gets bathed in the yellow.
Yeah,
Do you
well, that's
think-
why I'm bringing
so
it
is
up.
the
because-
island, the atmosphere like Krypton? The whole island's got
Yeah, like
Maybe.
Candor or whatever.
the Candor is somewhere on there, and it's,
You know why I'm saying about the rumor, right? Like, do you all remember why the rumor is still out there about Wonder Woman being Kryptonian?
Because there was one pod open on the ship.
yeah, there was something.
Right, and they alluded in the making of the movie that might be Wonder Woman's pod, which would still upset
What
me
if
if that is Wonder Woman's pod.
Yeah.
What if it's some other person from...
Again,
It could be Supergirl. It could be so many other people.
I told you, I'm fine if they decide to tie Supergirl into it. I'm fine if they decide to tie
Zod.
Zod or Lex Luthor or somebody as being
But Zod wasn't with him.
right.
It couldn't be Zod.
You get what I'm saying? Like they could tie somebody else. The
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
I mean, you could put the dog in for all I care to
But
become
this
Super
pod
Dog
wasn't
or whatever
the
it is.
pod that
What's
he
Crypto?
came in.
Thank you.
Watch Perry White turn out to be a Kryptonian. He's been hiding it this whole time.
But I
No,
mean,
no,
like,
no.
I'd be fine with that. But to make the pod Superwoman to me is like a huge cop out on DC's part.
Yeah, you can't because or Wonder Woman has her own backstory, history, the Amazonians,
Right.
the whole storyline that she's already got. Don't change
right.
that and make her another Kryptonian. That's
Right.
that's sacrilege.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm saying I don't want that pod to be Wonder Woman.
And the ship we're talking about wasn't the one that he came on himself. He was in like this other pod thing that landed in the field.
Right, in the which Superman is
Right, it was the ship they found in the Antarctic or whatever.
Yeah,
And-
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember.
and there were multiple pods.
Yeah.
So I think they were implying that multiple Kryptonians
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah.
Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash.
So we're saying anybody with superhuman
yeah.
powers suddenly
The only one
could
who
potentially
it
be-
wasn't was Batman.
Right.
suddenly Green Lantern is from Krypton.
Well, Green Lantern couldn't. The ring came from Krypton.
Okay.
But Green Lantern could be human. Just
Okay.
So look at this though. It's Marvel has their storyline and their history and their universe building down.
Yep.
They're doing it very strongly. You know where everything happens and falls into place. You could figure it out pretty quickly, and it ties into other things really well. They have got that knotted
It's
up.
why I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange. Absolutely.
Then you get to DC and you're like, well, who's this, or where's this fall in? Why is this person strong than not? And what's going on over here?
And
And
we
how come we haven't
question
seen this person? And,
everything, yeah.
and it doesn't seem to be cohesive yet.
I will give DC credit in that their cartoon games are really high, whereas Marvel doesn't have that cartoon.
Where's the
down.
value for a company? Would you rather invest the money in a movie or a cartoon game?
No, I'm saying if they have a lot of cartoon movies that are good.
Oh, I get what you're saying. The movie,
Yes.
cartoon
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, DC
they
animation
sell.
had a run, and it still does.
It
And it
still
does really
does.
well.
It does
Yeah.
better than Marvel animation. There's
Yeah,
no doubt
I'm sure.
about that.
I'm sure.
But on the flip side of that, you can't totally diss Marvel because honestly, I think their TV series on Disney XD are actually fairly well put together.
I'll go back as far as the '70s cartoons that they had.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
I used to love those.
Were a lot better than the DC stuff, the Super Friends.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're pretty decent, and they've
Dark
held
side
up over
is
time.
super
Honestly, even though they're from the '70s.
We go now to the Hall of Justice.
Even though I did like the Super Friends, don't get me wrong.
I diligently watch Super Friends every morning. Yeah.
If they had them on, I'd still watch them right now.
Aquaman, do something.
Honestly, I don't know how you guys watched that and did not realize how much of a dark side had a thing for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So,
Have you guys ever watched it since? I downloaded some of them. My kids and I were watching, and I did not realize the dark side. Dark side's got a thing
for Wonder
Woman throughout
It's
the
like
whole
a
show, and
huge
then
thing.
they're not holding back at all.
Who doesn't? Okay.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's I like Wonder Woman, and he's running after it. I'm
He's trying to get her to marry him.
as an adult, I'm going, this is a little odd.
So do you think one of those other pods might be Bizarro Superman?
Well, I've
Actually, that could
speculated
be.
that could be one. Who's the robot from that planet too? Brainiac, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
we haven't
wondering-
seen Brainiac yet.
I was
No.
wondering if maybe they're implying Brainiac's in the other pod too.
It could be a lot of people.
Oh, Brainiac wouldn't be in a pod. He'd be actually a part of the ship.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what if that's a body Brainiac enveloped? The ship computer is the AI that embodies the body that was in that pod. I hope that makes sense.
But what I want to know is if there was other people that survived on that ship but didn't have a pod open.
Possibly, and again, that's the great thing about leaving that part of it open-ended. We're still discussing it how many years later.
Yeah.
So,
And some of this, I know there's extra scenes in the director's cut of Batman versus Superman. You see more
yeah.
of some things. maybe some of this has already been answered because I haven't seen the director's extended, dramatic R-rated. We need to make money because Deadpool was R-rated version. So I still have to see that.
So, what did you guys think of the parts we did see of Wonder Woman on the island and some of her backstory? Did you like the way they treated that, or? I mean, there were some scenes I liked. I liked her overlooking the island and jumping and into the water.
After the plane crashes?
That was a nice
after the
shot.
plane crash.
That was a
Yeah,
nice
that was a
shot
nice
of her
shot.
going
It
off
was a
the
nice
cliff.
shot. It was a nice, I don't know, a nice homage to Wonder Woman's backstory, and
I have
hoping
to
it
see.
plays out right.
I have to see more of the culture because to me, I now picture Paradise Island much like Alex Ross paints it, like this Greek
Yeah.
epic city on hilltops
Right.
with open atriums, open roofed and Gothic columns and gorgeousness and sunsets and all that. And all I saw in this was a room that looked kind of like Asgard.
Right.
So I'm hoping that there's something more to Paradise Island.
Probably the one scene I saw on the island that I liked was the girl with the bow jump off the cliff there
Oh, yeah.
and shoot her
Yeah, come swinging down.
rope to swing her over there and then she
Oh,
gets
okay.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that
figures
gets
Gary
shot.
jumps to the
Which
the
we're
scene where he gets
assuming
shot.
it happens. That's
Yeah,
what they
well,
set
well,
up.
that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
I'm just I just
No, I
like
know
the
what you're
whole.
saying.
I just like the whole where she leaps off the cliff.
Yeah.
And then she swings over, and then they show her
Me-
get shot.
Maybe Chris
can't.
Pine is one of the other Kryptonians, and that's why he could tackle her.
Hold on, I have to tell you, it can't be her mother that jumps on swings because she talks to her mother about going and attacking the Nazis in the first place.
Maybe she does. I'm not sure.
That could all be backstory too.
Yeah,
True.
you never know.
True.
So, what do you guys think? This trailer motivating you to go see it or no?
I want to see it in the first place.
I was going to see it anyway, so.
Yeah.
I have too many questions, and I've still not seen a trailer that like excites me to the point where it's like, oh, mic drop moment. Now I want to see what happens. It's like, yeah, it's an okay trailer and there's some good action, but they haven't sucked me in yet.
Okay.
The main reason why I want to watch it is because everybody hates Gal Gadot being Wonder Woman.
She seems fine to me.
I like her.
I
as
did.
Wonder Woman.
I liked her right from the time they cast her.
I think it's a good
Yeah.
choice, actually. Okay, so our
She
next
looks
topic.
like Diana from the comic book. I'm just last comment.
Okay, so for our next topic, we're going to talk about the latest information coming out about Star Wars Episode 8. So
What? We're going to talk about Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars. Imagine that on a Star Wars podcast. So the rumor has come out about Luke's costume on Episode 8, and it's kind of interesting. The information is coming out.
Now, we do have to preface this with...
Spoiler alert, I guess.
Well, A, spoiler
if you
alert.
believe in the spoilers.
And B, this is all kind of tenuous hearsay.
Oh, it is.
Because right now, with Rogue One coming out in a month, that's the focus.
Right.
And it's with Star Wars Episode 8 being so far out, it's really locked down. So all of this stuff is very hearsay.
I think they're trying to generate some interest for it, though. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of pre-interest. They got to do something to
Well,
get
it's
people
either
to
that,
talk.
either that or it's fan wants stuff to happen like this. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that might be too. This might be fan generated. So we were reading an article on Movie Pilot about how Luke's costume on Episode 8 is going to be more like, I guess, like Count Dooku's costume, right, from Episode 2.
Yeah. They
So
basically said it was a cross between like Count Dooku's costume and his Return of the Jedi.
Right, the black
garb.
robes from Return of the Jedi. So he's going to have more of like an under tunic underneath, and like a gray robe over top. It's funny. There's this guy who supposedly did a rendition of it, Lumberjack
Nick.
Where do you get that name?
Lumberjack
I
Nick
just-
is awesome, okay? He cuts down trees like nobody's business.
He ranks her up there with Dillian.
He
Well,
is.
I was just about to ask if he actually sings the song. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. So, but no, Lumberjack Nick drew this drawing and he's like, look at this is according to the description, this is what it is. And then I'm looking at the drawing, going, first off, it does not look like what the description says. Am I wrong? Like that tunic does not look like Dooku's tunic.
No.
The gray robe.
They did say, though, in the description that it was different. It does come up as a hood.
Right. So there's a lot of things I'm looking at that going.
It's
not
all
even,
black.
It's not even.
There's
close.
not even any
I wanna
gray
know
in it.
It's
what's
all
going
gray.
on.
It's not black.
I want to know what's going on with Luke's nose. Because he looks like he's in some
What's
serious
going on
trouble.
with Ray and her legs and her arms?
like maybe-
She's frustrated.
She's got to go to the bathroom,
It does look like that.
and he's a drunk.
I'm just saying. Ultimately.
For kids to go see.
It's,
XXXI.
this one's definitely rated R. Wow.
Star Wars. And
See, now, I didn't even go there with my mind.
They've
I just wanna
released.
let you know.
You went there with your words, though.
Yeah.
They released the new title, by the way. It's called Star Wars Episode 8. Luke Gets Nasty.
Oh boy. So they call it a thin spear or piece of junk. Now that could be a description of what we're talking about.
It could be.
I mean,
Luke is holding his junk.
yes, he's holding his junk. So the question that has come out of that is, we lost Gary now. Is it possible that that's a double-bladed
Yeah.
lightsaber?
See, apparently he's holding this in shots that were secretly taken that obviously don't tie, not with the article. We don't get to see them. Or someone's description of what they've seen. It looks like a training scene with Rey. So is this some kind of training device he's using on her? Is it a different kind of
yeah.
weapon we've never seen?
He's using it on her.
Does it have 3 settings for vibration. No, but no. Some people have just seen him holding a stick. Some said, "Oh, maybe it's a walking stick." Maybe
Right.
I mean, this is how vague this rumor is that we're talking about. But it's interesting still to where it could lead, because some people have hypothesized it's a double-bladed lightsaber. Personally, I'd love to see that. Love to see Luke
With a
kick
double-bladed
kick
lightsaber.
butt with a double-bladed lightsaber.
What do you think of a double-bladed lightsaber, Gary? Do you think that's a good idea for Luke Skywalker?
I'd rather see Ray with it
Okay.
because she's already got the staff skills already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with that thing that she
Yeah.
carries around with her all the time.
Yeah, with her Plagueis staff.
Well, I was just about to bring that up.
Ooh,
What
yeah.
if
What
Luke-
if he's training her with it?
What if Luke's training her with the Plagueis staff? And see, now, like I told you guys, I see, now I'm just dark. I'm a bad guy. I would love to see. So they keep saying, J.J. Abrams keeps saying, I know, I'm trying to get to my point, I swear to you. J.J. Abrams keeps saying that somebody's going to make a huge shift in the Star Wars universe. And that's going to be the mind-blowing moment. And everybody's going to go, whoa, and want to see the next movie because of the huge shift. So I'm saying, so instead of Kylo, because everybody's assuming that Kylo is going to jump from the dark side to the light side. I'm saying, what if the shift goes the other way? What if Kylo is the dark side and Luke decides he's going to jump ship and jump to the dark side?
What if Luke already jumped to the dark side and isolated himself because of that?
Well, maybe he uses Plagueis' staff and it starts to call to him, or whatever you want to call that. Like it starts to turn him to the dark side because he's using the
For
staff.
listeners who may have missed previous episodes, explain the Plagueis staff thing again. In quick terms.
Plagueis had a staff that he carried with him in the book. What was the name of the book again? Darth Plagueis,
Yeah,
right?
Darth Plagueis.
He had a staff that he carried with him. It was his kind of his
Walking stick.
walking stick. Yeah, it was the thing he relied upon everywhere he went. And Gary and I have been hypothesizing from the beginning that the staff that Rey is carrying around is the Darth Plagueis staff. That somehow along the way, she got a hold of it, whether in a junk pile or somewhere along the way. Because why would she have this thing unless there's some major point to having the staff? And that's the one thing we keep going back to.
But as far as the major turn,
Yeah.
and I think would shock everybody, would be Leia.
Leia turning to the dark side?
Yeah. She lost Han. All right, maybe she loses
She lost
Luke.
lost her son.
Maybe she loses Luke in this too.
Yeah.
In,
I get what
in
you're saying.
episode 8.
Yeah. And she decides it's just better to go bad than go good.
No, she just
Frustrated.
loses it. That's all.
Yeah.
And touch upon her dark side, and it takes,
Somehow that won't be. I don't think that would be
it wouldn't.
controversial enough.
Yeah, it
I
would.
know that.
Because here she is. She's been years of denying the Force and everything else, and being a Jedi and everything else, and then have all these back-to-back things happen. The next thing you know, she's got the rage that Anakin had when his mom got killed, and he couldn't handle the fact that she got killed, and he goes and wipes out the whole Tusken camp. Why wouldn't it be feasible for her to do it?
I mean, it's feasible.
That's
I'm just
true.
saying I don't know if it's enough. I don't know. Enough of a story.
Oh, there's a big story there. And then then Kylo has to bring her back from the dark side.
Okay.
So what if it's Rey?
What if it's all three in one?
Everyone Luke trains seems to not do too well. What if he trains her and
she
goes
turns
dark?
Yeah. And
That too.
there's that possibility.
And then it's Finn is all of a sudden the hero of the
Right.
trilogy.
Right. Maybe Rey's not the hero we thought she would be, which I think would irk every
Oh, you
woman
can- that
on
would-
the planet.
That would piss a lot of people
Why?
off.
Yeah,
What's
every
wrong
wo-
with the dark villain?
Every
girl?
woman
Like,
on the planet would be mad. Because then again, you've got another strong female character who really isn't strong and falls to the dark side. You know what I mean?
She
Like,
should be really strong.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, depending on your point of view, I guess everything is from a certain point of view. What about the idea of these robes for Luke? Do you like the idea of the grays and the blacks? I mean, is this, or
I mean, is he going to just, since we've been told that episode 8 starts the moment episode 7 ended?
which I still think is weird compared to every
Because the
other Star
crawl,
Wars
there's
movie.
nothing the crawl can say.
Right.
They stared at each other for a long time.
What are they gonna say? And we're back. You know, like,
they better have a crawl or I will walk out of that movie.
well, then you're gonna be walking out. You might as well not go to me. Go with me because they've already said there will be no crawl. Yeah.
No, they said that for Rogue One, not for episode 8.
Oh, that's right for Rogue One. Yeah.
Rogue One has no crawl, but episode 8
Yeah,
will have a crawl, but it's going to be like
And we're back.
the grass slightly waved, a dog barked.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point behind the crawl? I mean, why even bother putting it in there then? Are you
Maybe-
going to recap all of Episode 7?
Yeah,
I mean, I
It's
guess
gonna
that's
be-
what
it's
you're
gonna be
do,
interesting.
right?
they're going to recap it, and then you're going to find out that Lando Calrissian's been hanging out with Luke for the past
Well,
X months.
okay, so maybe they throw a zinger in there in the
Yeah.
middle of it all.
And the rumors are true.
Okay, which rumors are that?
That Luke's gay.
Oh gosh, I was afraid you were going to say that.
There's been rumors about that too.
And with Lando.
Oh, okay.
You know, he couldn't.
Well, Lando can get anyone he wants, so that's no surprise.
Exactly.
With a little Colt 45.
I like the robes to get us back on
yeah.
track.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't wonder, the thing I wonder is, so it was my point earlier when I said we start at the exact moment it ended. So he's obviously still going to be wearing the outfit we saw.
Right.
Is there going to be like a Luke goes to his closet and pulls out darker clothes moment? Or is it just going to be the moment he starts training her? Is there going to be a training montage? I hope to God not.
He's gonna go to his closet. He's gonna have a Peter Griffin moment. He's gonna go, no, Jedi robe, no,
No,
Jedi robe,
no.
Ooh,
That's-
the black one. That looks good.
It's not going to be a Peter Griffin moment.
No.
It's going to be a Mr. Rogers moment.
I don't get that.
Come
He's
into
gonna
my
walk
house.
to the
He's gonna-
door.
He's going to take off his robe and
Yeah.
puts that in a cardigan
Won't
one.
you be my neighbor Jedi?
Won't you be my Padawan?
Yeah, and he's got to put new slippers on.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
Yep, he
New hand wraps.
Takes the one robe off and puts on a cardigan robe.
Cardigan robe would be awesome.
Now, children, please don't be alarmed by my hand. It just got cut off by my father. That's all.
Luke, I am your
How come no one has cosplayed as Jedi Rogers yet?
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
There's a costume for you.
Yeah, you've always said you want to join us
It's
at some point.
a beautiful day in the galaxy. A beautiful day for a Jedi. Would you be mine? Could you be my Padawan?
I see a parody coming on that we could
Things
totally
just got
do.
a little weird.
Where's Austin when you need him? We
Yeah,
need his
really.
camera and him.
We can go call him.
Okay.
Now just remember, we came up with this idea first, so if anybody does it, we're going to copyright
We
it.
copyrighted.
Copyrighted. 2016.
That's
The
right.
GalaxyCast.
So, good idea, bad idea with the robes.
I don't like them.
Don't like it? Tara, what do you
I'm
think?
fine with it. If he goes to the dark side, I will cheer in the movie theater.
Wow. Gary or Eric, what do you think?
I think they could be cool, but again, we're just talking about a very minor detail that who knows what it means.
I actually like it because I liked Luke's Return of the Jedi robe, so to go back to
yeah.
him a little bit, I'm cool with it.
But does this mean Rey's going to ever get out of that outfit? Are we going to see her in something different?
I know, right? Like, for all the women in the world, she has the worst wardrobe of every female I've ever known. Okay, last one to talk about. We watched probably some of the funniest things I have ever seen in a long
Really
while.
funny.
These clips from, and they're raw footage, right? Is it
Yeah,
what
they're
I'm-
raw footage clips.
from Star Wars: A New Hope, and they were from this Filmumentaries site on Facebook, and they're awesome. I mean,
Link will be provided.
I will provide a link in the show notes. They're awesome. I love the clips. Some of them make you laugh, and some of them are just kind of like interesting because they say things or they do things that we just didn't expect or know they were doing. Like Chewie's
Chewbacca is actually
like
saying
Peter. I
words.
didn't know you were yelling through the mask. You're like,
When
hey,
you're
what the
filming
heck have you
scenes.
done? You know, like I didn't realize that.
Yeah, one of the scenes we saw was the moment that Chewie is trying to repair the Millennium Falcon to get off Hoth
On Empire.
on Empire, and it's when Han walks up and says, "All right, I'll be up there, I'll help you in a minute." Well, in the scene you see, Peter Mayhew's yelling through the mask in
With
this
a British
with a British
accent.
accent, and he's just like, "Where the hell have you been? I need your help. We're gonna get out of here. Go tell them we're leaving."
And it makes the conversation make more sense,
Yeah.
actually.
You now
And
know
it's
what
kinda
Chewie's
weird
saying.
And you
They-
didn't know what Chewie was saying
One of the
before.
clips, they actually had R2. They were speaking for R2 instead of having the
Yeah, they
beeps.
were, yeah.
It was actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, and Darth Vader, and I knew David Prowse said things through the mask,
Yeah.
but I'd never actually seen it. So to see him do that was actually kind of funny and awkward.
Yeah.
But you know,
One of them broke their finger,
and
like one of the aliens.
What did you say, Eric, about the fact that they're you talked about? Did they know whether this was going to be?
Well, watching this footage is really interesting because, and I've heard the story before. Everyone on the set, it was all British crew and stuff because they were filming it overseas.
Right.
Everyone on the set was like, "This is never going to work. This is horrible. This is not going to be entertaining." They'd see the scenes with David Prowse, and they're like, "Really, you're going to have this guy just shouting out muffled?" But no one could picture in their heads what was going to happen, how important post production would be to this movie, because
Right.
up to this point. Yeah, there were some, there'd been fantasy and sci-fi movies, but nothing that was going to be this altered by the post-production process and how important sound was going to be. I mean,
Yeah.
they really pioneered how much sound added to this movie. So when you see these raw footage shots with all the ambient sound and people clanking around their outfits and not adding the distant rumbles and the computers and the laser blasts and the voices and, I mean, come on, James Earl Jones, you heard that voice and it just it dug into you. It was so good. You can see it really is a good master class. Watching these little filmumentary clips is really a study in how much a movie can be changed due to post-production sound and especially editing.
Oh, yeah.
Taking these shots and clipping them at just the right moment to capture just the right look on people's faces and take out the stuff of someone tripping or whatever. But even more than the big things like a stumble or a trip, it's important that they caught just the right 2 seconds. Right. And they put that part in and sequenced it with the right other 4 seconds after it and the right 3 seconds before it. It really changed everything about this movie. And I've heard stories where Lucas got back after filming. He had tasked people with starting the special effects without him.
Right.
He gets back, and they had like 2 shots done, and they were horrible. And he's like, we have hundreds of these to get done. And he had to completely change what he was doing. I think he left the editing to other people.
Oh,
and he switched gears to focusing on the post-production special effects. He knew how important they were.
Right.
And it really did change the movie.
Well, he forced them to streamline the process too. I do know that. Like, they were taking forever on some simple shots, and he's like, no, you have to streamline this. You're taking way too long. And he did change the process by which they were editing. And before that point, a lot of editing was it was done literally with scissors and tape.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucas actually came up with they helped invent a system to cut. There was a machine they invented where you could cut, it would fuse the end, and you could pull the next one in, and it would heat up the film and bind them together with some heat. He actually helped a couple of British guys who had the idea with this patent, but nobody wanted to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought it was feasible or wanted to use it, and he actually saw a use for it, and that's how they started to use. They actually invented that thing for Star Wars.
And this is what everyone always says, and people who criticize Lucas forget. Yeah, the man can direct okay.
Right.
He's not the greatest with actors. He's not the greatest with emotion on screen.
Right.
He's more about telling a story, but even more so, he's about
finding the
concept and innovating the concepts in
yeah.
the creation of movies and film.
Oh, yeah.
He really, really is all about being a visionary in the technology and in the process. And it's amazing.
What did you think of some of the funny moments, like C-3PO falling over, the Doros bending his finger backward?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know.
I just realized that the profile picture is actually of the people who ran Jabba.
Yes.
Not the
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. And it's actually pretty cool to see it. There's like
there
4
were 3
people.
That's actually true. There were 3 people inside Jabba the Hutt.
There's one on the
operating.
bottom.
I forget what the
Well,
bottom
that
one I
was-
think was working. It was working some of the animatronics.
Yeah, animatronics on it. Yeah, but yeah, I mean there were 3 or 4 guys actually working Jabba the Hutt, and it was quite the Herculean task to get that blob of thing.
And I would have been
work,
so
you know?
claustrophobic in
Oh,
that.
I've always
Yeah.
thought about
God.
that too, but but I always thought about think about the guy who was underneath Big Bird or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snuffleupagus. I mean, you want to talk about claustrophobia? That's got to be claustrophobic too. I mean, that can't.
But and we were talking about the David Prowse voice thing. I had seen some clips of Jabba where they had these guys talk the lines out as they were doing it.
Yeah,
So you've got Jabba there, and it's just this guy going, before it's all in English.
Yeah.
And it's just him going, "Your mind powers will not work on me, boy." And it sounds so silly because it's not that deep voice we
Yeah.
know. So, you know that, but then you see the clip of Peter Mayhew yelling through the mask, and
know.
it just catches you off guard so much.
The one thing that I was actually taken aback by, and I didn't realize it, was the stormtroopers in the first film were actually using blanks. The Sterlings were actually firing
Yeah, they were blasting.
blank rounds.
Do
were
they
actually
not do blank
blasting.
rounds now?
Oh, well, no, they don't, because they can add the laser blast and after
Well,
The
effects
muzzle.
and
They can
after
even add the
credits.
muzzle fire.
Yeah, they
digitally.
can add the
Well,
muzzle flash and
I think they stopped doing it when
the crow, right? When
the
Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee got
Right.
killed. They were my daughter's looking at me like, what happened?
For our young
Yeah, I was
listeners.
gonna say for our young listeners that never knew, in the first version of the Crow, which was shot back in '90.
It was early 90s,
96?
somewhere in there, and it was Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee.
And there was a scene where he was running across a table, and a whole bunch of guys are shooting. I think they were Uzis and AK-47s at him, and they had blanks in all the rounds, except somewhere along the way,
It was all blanks.
was it all blanks?
It was all blanks.
But I thought somebody
What
had
had
a live
happened
round
was
in amongst the blanks.
What they had was they had bullets. Blanks don't have a head on cap on them.
Right.
They
Yeah.
just fire out the powder.
Right.
For shots where you have to see the bullets looking real, they build fake ones with no powder in them that have a head cap on them.
Right.
And there was a scene of someone loading a gun, and they did it, and then they emptied those out. Well, what they didn't know was when they emptied them out, one broke, and the head cap stayed stuck in the chamber.
Okay.
Then they put the blank in, and that happened to be the one the guy fired to pull the trigger, and it did fire the head,
actual bullet,
the
right.
head of the artificial visual bullet
hit
out,
Brandon Lee,
shot him and killed him.
killed him on set. So here's your main actor,
Wow.
the Crow,
Yeah.
is now dead, and they had to
it was
continue.
like 2 weeks till filming was done.
Right.
I
and-
heard when I was a kid and I was like 6, there was like some action film and they actually had a live round in one of the guns
Yeah.
by
And-
accident.
And he got killed on set. So
Yeah.
they had to finish filming
And-
without Brandon Lee. And there's all sorts of sets from the back, like with his head, and from the backside.
And there's 2 shots where they added him in digitally.
Right. It's awful.
2 or 3, yeah.
I mean, but it's because of the technology
And,
at the time.
and even before that, the TV show The Voyagers. The actor,
Oh, yeah.
The one actor that played Phineas Fogg
Yeah.
was showing off in a bar, and he had a blank gun, and he put it up towards his head and blew his head off.
Because there was enough power coming out of it to
Yep.
actually hurt him at a close range.
Right.
Yeah, because believe it or not,
Yeah.
even a blank weapon and black powder coming out would be enough to, could do some serious damage to you. Just ask all the Civil War reenactors in the world. That's right, Pete. I'm talking to you.
So yeah, these guys are firing stormtrooper blasters with blanks.
With blanks. And I was just like, I did not know that. That was like new information to me. That was interesting. So,
And it shows that they were actually hitting people until they put it in the special effects in.
right.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, yeah, maybe that's what was wrong with all the
Maybe
Stormtrooper
that's why the
blasters.
like people who actually died, like they got hit and then they died.
Okay, so those were our thoughts on the Wonder Woman trailer. Those are our thoughts on Luke wearing the new robes that he may be wearing for Episode 8. All spoilery there. And, of course, our thoughts on the filmumentaries. You know, what do you think of, some background information on A New Hope? So, head on over to GalaxyCast.com. Let us know what you think of all these things, and we'd love to hear from you. And we'll be back in just a little bit to talk about Star Wars Rebels. Okay, let me stop our video. We'll be back in just a little bit, folks.
I hope to
We are
God
serenading
you
Eric right
guys have other sunshine than me, or you have very, very dark lives.
Well,
I've always lived in a fog, so.
I was going to say, Carrie's lived in a fog for quite a bit of time. All right, let's get her.
Testing 1 2. Oops. Testing 1 2. That's us.
We're good.
Hello.
As long as I don't get another one of those. You just have another thing available. All right, you guys ready?
No.
Well, suck it up.
Buttercup.
Buttercup. Let me pull up show notes.
Now I have you are my sunshine stuck in my head.
Good.
You're
Why
welcome.
is that a good thing?
Because it is. It brightens your day up.
Kara's Heroes.
Heroes. Heroes.
That's what I just said.
You said heroes.
What was the name of the thing that they were going after?
The Centula? The
The Kabbalah.
The Spectrum.
Kabbalah.
It's not a cabal.
No, I'm trying to think of the actual name. The
Kabbalah.
I'm not trying to be like insensitive here. I'm just trying
It's a
to.
cabal. What's wrong with you?
No, it's
The totem pole.
Centula?
Centula sounds close. That you gotta go down. Click on season 2.
Yeah, but we're in season 3, aren't we?
Yeah, we're in season 3.
Oh. They
Let's try
aren't
that again.
caught up.
There we go. Let's see if this has more info.
Heroes.
Calicori.
Calicori.
Calicory. I knew
That's
it was
why I
something
needed to
with
find it, because I was like, I knew it was a weird name. Okay. You all ready?
Yes. No.
Gary, you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Video's going already, so. Alright, here we go. Hey folks, welcome back as we talk about this episode of Star Wars Rebels titled Hera's Heroes. So pretty much the episode title just sums up the entire episode. It's all about Hera and her planet.
And it's a very clear takeoff on Hogan's Heroes.
Which I caught some of it, Gary, but maybe I'm missing part of it on the Hogan's Heroes part. Now, Hogan's Heroes is the one about the POW camp, right?
Yeah.
Great idea for a sitcom.
It was a spectacular sitcom, actually.
But just, you couldn't get away with that today. Hey,
No.
let's do a show about people in a POW camp. We'll make it a comedy.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. It wouldn't come off right nowadays.
I was calling more Kelly's Heroes more so than Hogan's Heroes.
Okay, so that's maybe where I'm confused. Kelly's Heroes is about what?
Where the GIs during World War II rob a bank.
Oh, okay, all right. Now I know which one you're talking about. Okay, yeah. Been a while since I've seen that movie, but now I know what you're talking about.
All-star cast.
Yes. And, okay, yeah, now I kind of see what you're talking about. The robbing the bank part of the whole 9 yards because they're going in to get the Calicori, which is the heist.
Let's just call it the MacGuffin.
It is,
It's the Calicori is the thing that is passed on from generation to generation. Her mom had it, and she wanted to get the Calicori back.
Okay, so let's jump into the episode. If you watch the show, we don't need to recap. So the Calicori, what did you guys think of this idea that they're going after this MacGuffin, whatever it is, this Calicori? Was that a good way to get us into an episode? I mean, or was it just kind of a MacGuffin, as Eric put it? I mean,
I'm surprised
Did it work
that
for you?
I'm surprised that Thrawn wasn't there going, I see you have a MacGuffin with you. May I look at it, please?
and let's be MacGuffin-y as we look at it. Does it look MacGuffin enough to you? So
It was the idea was interesting behind there being a very important ancestral object, something that
An heirloom.
I'm trying to think of an heirloom that would equate. I mean, well, let's face it. If you saw Pulp Fiction, Bruce Willis really wanted that watch, and he went back into danger to get that watch.
Yeah.
Certain things can be very important to people. So I guess this was a way of emotionally tying Hera to something that she needed. She just felt she needed because of her past, which we know so little about, and which makes us realize that she has this important family history.
I think of it a lot like a Scottish tartan. Because when you've got a particular style in your tartan, it's your family thing, and it's a big deal to have that.
Right.
But I also think about in the Scottish realm, if your kilt with your tartan on it burns up, no big deal. Everybody in the family knows the style and can recreate it. So
Right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of weird to have that weird MacGuffin thing that they're going after.
It looked like a child's toy. You get it.
Looked like one of those things
at,
that
I
you
was
like
just
rubbing
about to
between
say,
your hands
yeah,
and like
you rub between your hands and it goes tick, 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 tick,
Like an IKEA. It looks like an IKEA baby toy. Is what I was going to
It
say.
reminded me of Karate Kid. What was it? The second one where they had the drum and you would
you'd
roll it in
spin
your
it.
hand
Little
and
bit.
it would go.
Yep.
tick, 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 It reminded me of that. Actually, I wanted her to take it and go. Tick, 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 like I don't know why. I just wanted to see that
I
happen.
see what you're saying there, Bob. I also look at those. I don't even remember what they're called. They're like little slats of wood that just flop back and forth whenever you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
they're-
about. They're like a T that have slots of wood and you
Yep.
can change it
Yeah,
from one side to
yeah.
the other. So yeah, I don't know what those are called. If you know what it is,
was,
write to us.
It was an interesting design choice. I mean, I would have pictured something more alien.
I was actually thinking it was just going to be a painting. And like when they walked in, I thought it was.
I thought it
I
was
thought
gonna
the
be more like
Calicori was going to be the picture on the wall. Oh, there's the Calicori.
I
right
thought
there,
it was
you
gonna
know?
be more like a tapestry.
Of the family tree.
We'd like to go in and look at your tapestries. Sorry.
No, that I was kind of thinking the same way as Tara was on that.
Okay.
A big tapestry that had like the generations.
Like woven into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost like a quilt would be,
Yeah.
like a generational quilt type.
But
of
I
thing.
guess for story purposes, it needed to be something easy to carry and to hand off to other
Yeah, I
people.
guess
And
so.
Otherwise, Thrawn's suddenly collecting quilts.
yeah.
But the one
May I see that, please? Oh, it's heavy.
one problem I have with this whole thing, especially when they go undercover, Chopper just puts on his Imperial dome and just walks right into the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you just have him go get it?
I know, like he seems to be the one guy who seems to be able to go through anything and everything, and nobody ever questions what he's doing. So if he's like R2 and he could just go in and use his arm, have him go in, grab whatever it is, throw it in the middle of his body, and walk out with it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
For God's sakes, you could have given Chopper the One Ring, and he could have ridden right into Mordor and ended the whole thing. No one would have had to have any trouble.
No, 3
All that works would have looked at him going, that's kind of
walking.
weird, but kind of cool.
Wait. No 2-hour movies each. 2 of them of walking.
But what you guys are failing to remember is they had that in the droids episode. In the Clone
Yes.
Wars.
The 2-hour movie.
Yeah. But the little plankton guy in the
Yeah, whatever that.
episode was the one that had the One Ring.
Yeah. But like you said, they were going through the desert forever and a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They never really even explained how Chopper got in there. It's like, we're going to break in,
That's
and
right,
the next thing
'cause
you
they-
know, Hera and
they
Ezra
walk by
ride
Chopper,
in,
who's
and
out-
Chopper's there.
Chopper's outside looking at the Y-wing, and all of a sudden, he's in the base, and
Yeah.
we never really found
Yeah.
out how he got into the base.
Because he put his Imperial Dome on.
I mean, apparently he knows some secret passages we just don't know about. So what about the idea of having Hera's father involved in this whole scenario? Did we need him there?
He didn't...
For this episode, yes.
Do you really think so?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he's obviously an important member of the rebellion on his planet, fighting off the Imperial occupation. So, yeah, and, we got to know a little about the fact that she has a family, but I never felt like... I felt like he could have been... He didn't necessarily have to be her father. He could have just been a rebel leader from her culture. I didn't feel that connection, necessarily, of him being that important to her.
So I'm still confused. Numa, which is the girl from Clone Wars, is that Hera's sister?
No.
I don't know.
Because I keep getting the implication that maybe it is.
No, I think it's like a maybe childhood friend or something, but I don't.
I mean, we know that Chom Syndulla, obviously, her father, but I mean, we just keep seeing these other two, and I kind of felt like maybe Numa is her sister. I get that impression.
Maybe adopted sister, maybe, but not
Not in the actual sense
Right.
of being your sister.
right. Because I think her parents were killed, and that's why she was an orphan with the Jedi and all that.
Okay.
In the clones.
So let's talk about characters here. What'd you guys think? Let's go start with small characters here. What'd you guys think of Numa and Gobi? I mean, as far as their role in this episode,
They didn't need to be there.
Were they pointless?
Wasted.
They're not anyone I'm going to remember and be
Yeah.
like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to see Numa again. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm...
I think it was just here's a little thing for all those Clone Wars fans to say, we put one in, just for you.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think Numa and Gobi really played a significant role in this one.
No.
How about the role that Ezra plays in this episode? I mean, he ends up
didn't-
being in the Scout Trooper costume, kind of tries to be Hera's, I guess, guard, as they try to sneak into the what is it? It's a castle or a home or whatever.
It's
it is.
her home, which looks like they
Yeah.
lived as major royalty on the planet.
Right. Do you think that was a good idea, putting him in a Scout Trooper costume? I mean, one thing that bothered me, he's the only Scout Trooper in the whole place, and
Yeah.
nobody questioned that.
Yeah, it's so you can keep
I was
them
waiting for the one
straight.
Stormtrooper to go, I don't remember us having Scout Troopers here.
Well, the Dave Filoni trooper there told him to go put her in the holding cell,
yeah.
and then because he like, where'd you find her and all that. But other than that, is
Yeah,
You-
it
and
just
you'd
seemed
think
kinda
there'd
odd
be-
he's the only Scout Trooper.
You think there'd be like check-in processes and badges to get in
Right.
past doors and security
Yeah,
of
yeah, just
code words or something?
like
the robot in the last episode where you have to boop.
Yeah,
you know?
with the 16 punch card. There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, where's our 16 punch card for this one? Apparently, if you're a TIE pilot, we don't trust you. But if you're a Stormtrooper, you can go anywhere you want. You're good.
And I understand
No,
it's
I
like
was
an
a scout trooper.
occupation in a foreign building. Maybe they don't have set up key card readers on doors and stuff, but you'd think there'd be a system of checkpoints of, what's your access number? What's where are you headed?
right.
What something. And it's not, and there's no,
421, why aren't you at your post?
yeah, there's no
that kind of
questioning. It's just they, walk around doing whatever they want.
thing. Apparently, before the Death Star, they didn't keep track of who was where. So, so what did you guys think of, and let's start getting into some of the bigger characters. Well, actually, we got one more. What did you guys think of the role that, well, let's talk about Zeb, and let's talk about, who's our Jedi? Kanan.
They were
What about
like,
their roles in this episode?
barely
I mean, they were minor
existent.
roles, but
Zeb had one of the best moments in the episode when he punched the scout trooper out. The kid wants your helmet. Boom.
I have to
Yeah.
admit, yeah. Or when he looks up and he goes, "Hey, kid, got this one?" Nope. Boom. Yeah, I have to admit that's one of the better.
But pretty much everyone was kind of a side character. Kanan, it was one of my problems I have again with, and it was a lot of having to do with all the blaster shooting that happened in this episode that was nowhere near anybody. It's like, did Kanan really need to pull out the lightsaber to run across an opening just to do it? You know, the most he did is he had one strong moment when he caught a rocket in midair and threw it at a scout.
Kanan being worried about being identified as a Jedi? Because apparently that's all going out the door.
Yeah. No, now that I'm blind, everything's different.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, at every waking moment, the lightsaber's on now, and I'm kind of like, do you really need to have that? Like, you're drawing more attention to you than
he's turning the lightsaber on so he can see the light.
And Ezra, who seems to have gotten very strong.
Guide now. Oh, I'm going to follow myself.
You know, Ezra, who seems to have gotten a lot stronger, didn't seem to do much of anything in this episode other than just kind of follow Hera around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he again, if he's getting so strong in the Force as he's supposedly getting, why didn't he know Thrawn was going to pull the blaster on him? Why didn't he sense that
Why didn't he
at all?
sense Thrawn at all? Like, he should have sensed Thrawn when they walked into the building.
Well, Thrawn's not a Force user, so it's not like he's going to sense him.
You didn't see the Isalamari yet?
I was just about to say, Gary, you just beat me to it. Maybe Thrawn had an Isalamari nearby somewhere.
They need to put those in.
They do. That would be, that would be the one thing that would kind of start bringing balance. Because right now, I'm sorry, Jedi are gods in the world of Star Wars when it comes to the movies. They're almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at Episode 2, Episode 3, even going all the way up to Episode 7, they're like almost unbeatable. And the one thing that I love that Timothy Zahn did by bringing the Salamari in is he actually took away the god power the Jedi had. And I liked that idea, and I agree. We need to be bringing that in here. Why not use that to neutralize Ezra and Kanan?
And bring in the Vornskers, so that'd be awesome.
The Vornskers would be cool, too, yeah. And who were the really weird guys that were on the planet with the Wookiees? The Nogri.
No, they weren't on the Wookiee planet, no. They were on their own planet.
Okay. But still the Nogri. I would love to bring the Nogri in, because that would be really cool.
I wonder if there's... Obviously,
there might be
discussion.
plans down the road.
There's discussion.
But what did you guys think? So let's start getting bigger now. What did you think of Thrawn in this episode?
Best part of the episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing, too. Is
every time he talked, I was
like
watching.
Mesmerized.
I mean, this is my first time I've seen Thrawn, so it threw me off a little bit, but it was good.
They named it Hera's Heroes.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks it's about Hera. It was all about Thrawn.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It really was.
Yeah, it almost should have been like Thrawn's...
Like, they didn't even do all of Hera's backstory, in my opinion.
Thrawn bitch slaps Hera.
I was just about to say Thrawn's desecration or something along that lines, because, man, he desecrated her. I mean, to a large extent. I mean, think about it. He just took their family heirloom and stole it. I mean, just stole it right in front of her.
But with respect.
Okay,
He knows it's a piece. He sees value. Desecration would have been what that other soldier or captain wanted to do.
I guess, yeah.
Well, just
but he
smash
did
it.
say worthless to anyone else.
Right.
Not to him. He sees the value.
Well,
right.
Not only does he see the value, but he also sees where she comes from.
And I still think there's some way to analyze it to learn even more about Hera, and that's what I think his plan is. Take it back to the ship, analyze it even more.
My problem is we still haven't learned all of Hera's story.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not.
They're giving it in bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces, yeah. The same thing, they're doing that pretty much with everybody. Kanan we're learning bits and pieces of. Ezra I think we have more than most.
Ezra we know most about.
Right. And
although I still think there's a mystery with his parents that we're going to find out.
Right. Zeb, I think we're getting bits and pieces of. And
yeah.
Well, we got a big reveal of what Zeb is, so it's we know more about Zeb than we do anybody else.
That's probably true,
being the special leader of his people.
Of his race, and I'll give you that.
And he's a star chart and everything.
Yeah. So, what about, like, Eric, you talked about the blocking. I was going to start getting into that. What did you guys think of the blocking in this episode?
Some of the worst I've seen.
We had a walker, we had a troop transport, we had...
Once again, they put everything out in the open in these big open areas with just small bits of cover and just lots of blaster fire and no one hitting anything. And even the opening sequence where I agree... You said you liked, Gary, the running creatures.
Yeah,
I liked their look, or I liked them, kind of. I think they were wrong for the episode because there's no way in hell they run as fast as they did to outrun speeder bikes.
No, how do you know?
Because they even when they
Just 'cause they're
ran,
fat?
even when they
Yes.
ran partly, even when they ran like over the top of the
See,
scout
you admitted
trooper. But no, picture it. What if they had done something really lanky that booked? I would have been able to believe that more in the visual that it could outrun a speeder bike. But these things, they didn't seem to have the physical capability to do it, and they certainly didn't seem to be doing it during. They'd be running. Speeder bike would get closer. Next thing you know, they're half a mile back.
Right.
It's like I didn't. It's like someone was not thinking through the whole spatial ratio of that whole.
They almost
sequence.
needed to have like a T-Rex look as opposed to the look they had.
The whole episode would have been better if they were going through tight turns and those lizards could do that easy and the bikes had to go slower because they couldn't get up speed.
Right.
Great. That's all you need to do. Solve the problem for me. Now I'm fine with the scene. But no, they had them running in this big open area and
In
two
a
speeder
straight
bikes
line.
in a straight line with a giant troop carrier in the back with guns. Nothing could hit them. Nothing could hit anything in this episode.
Well, at the same time, your argument's kind of invalid too, because that troop transporter kept up with those speeder bikes.
Yeah, there's that, which is like...
Which again, that didn't make sense to me either. I have to be honest.
Because
with you,
speeder
it didn't.
bikes aren't they're bicycles, and they were motorcycles.
Not yet, anyway.
Didn't you see the guys pedaling?
I heard the bell, the ring bell he was had on,
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
on the...
You see the basket on the front.
See, now the scene to
So
me that I
that
thought
didn't-
was worst blocking wise was actually the one in the canyon.
I didn't like the canyon either.
Because again, first off, okay, from a tactical point of view, who in their right mind would send a walker and a troop transport and a bunch of guys walking down a canyon?
Yeah.
I mean, duh. That's just begging to have you. You know, it's like every
Admiral Thrawn wasn't there to give him orders.
It's like every cowboy movie where you know the Indians are in the rocks around the canyon.
Or they got the high ground.
Right, so, and you're like, why would you go in there, idiots? You know, like, why would you do that? Unless you're George Armstrong Custer, you're a
you go.
complete moron
There you
for
go.
doing that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
strategically, wow, dumb. And of course, what do the
So,
rebels do?
was it-
They do exactly what we expect them to do. They blow up the rocks, they stop them. I mean,
It was
that
it was
predictable.
cliche written. It was very
Yeah.
cliche. The whole canyon sequence was full of cliches in terms of how they
But the
did the
blocking
action.
was awful on it, too.
Yeah.
They're right next to each other, but they're missing each other.
Yeah.
How?
Or just, okay, it's time to lead them away, so let's just kind of run across the valley in front of them and then
Right.
hop on some things and ride away, and they can't hit us even though we're, again, it's a 200 yards straightaway before the turn.
What was the point behind all of that?
To lead this, apparently this one small group away so they could get past them, because this was the only way into their city, which didn't
You
look
get what I'm
like
saying?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
you didn't need to do that. You did that whole scene could have been cut out, as far as I'm concerned. You didn't need to do any of that. They could have just drove around them with a speeder bike.
And driven up to the castle.
Right. Like, I was thinking they were going to, like, drive out and meet the guys and be like, oh my gosh, we got, attacked by them. But instead, they just drove around them. And I'm like, why? What was the point behind it? Somebody did not think that scene
No.
through.
There was a whole bunch of contrived moments in this,
Yeah.
of things that happened because someone felt they had to happen to get to certain places in the story and they weren't thought through.
Well, if you're going to pay an actor to be in an episode, you got to do it that way. You can't just have the ghosts come in and just lay cover fire so that they can get in that way.
Or you mean have the ghost blow up a troop transport
Yeah.
without even... Yeah, apparently the troop transport has the same armor that they found in Pentagon Wars, because that was awful. What was it, 4 shots? Ezra shot at the thing and then it blew up?
He
Well-
found the troop transport's shatter point.
Yes.
I knew you were... I
made of
saw the
aluminum.
glint in his eye, and I knew one of the two of you was going after it.
It's made of aluminum.
Frickin' shatter points.
Well,
Yes,
Or
it's made of
steel.
aluminum.
if you
And there's some goats inside of it, too,
Yeah.
that we can't get to.
and if you remember also,
You need to have a sheep permit.
Yeah, that's it.
the ghost was also able to take out a big walker too.
Yes.
So
I know. And this, okay, so here's the other one about the blocking. At one point, Kanan is blocking shots from the walker.
Yeah.
You'd think those would knock him back a little or something.
Even partially. Like,
Just
so why does he
stand
just
there.
go out against all the AT-ATs? He could just beat them all, man. Like, he could block other shots. I mean, like, again, it goes
There
back to
wasn't
the...
even a struggle when he threw the little cannon thing at the other walker. Like,
a little cannon thing.
I feel like
the
this-
rocket launcher
yeah.
when he threw
I
the...
feel like 90% of this episode was written in like one weekend by someone who just kinda-
It's the XS team.
who just thought through the cliches of getting sneaking in
James,
somewhere.
you've got the next episode. All right, I got this. What do you want it to be about? We're going to call it Heroes Heroes. Great. All right, Thrawn into it. We're good. I mean, that's kind of like how, right? I mean, like...
Pretty much.
And then I'll figure some way to get Hera in there, but Thrawn will be the main... Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. He'll be the main point behind the episode. So, okay. So I kind of know where we're going with this, but we might as well go there anyway. Let's race it. Let's race it. Let's try it part again. Let's rate this episode, because I kind of have a feeling of where we're all at, and I don't think we need to talk about this episode too much more. Anybody want to start this one out?
I'll start.
Go for it.
Here we
Go
go,
for it.
Gary.
I'm going to give it a solid 6. All because
higher
of
than I
Thrawn.
thought you would be.
All because of Thrawn.
All because of Thrawn.
Yep. Everything else,
So-
just put Thrawn on there for 30 minutes. I'll be happy.
Because of Thrawn, you'd give it a 666.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Tara, what would you give it?
Which is divisible by 3.
So
Is
there you
a
go.
0 a score?
No.
No.
So then a 1.
Whoa. Okay.
It just wasn't a good episode.
Nothing in this episode made you happy.
Alright, Thrawn made me happy, but that's why it probably has a 1.
He makes me happy.
And I also say those running...
The running creatures, you like those? Okay. What was the part that bothered the two of you?
The blocking, the storyline, there's
Just
a
say
lot.
the episode.
Rebels.
Yeah,
The
the
episode
episode.
bothered you.
Ezra.
Ezra bothered you.
Yeah, Ezra too, yeah.
Why did
that
Ezra
bothered
bother
me.
you?
Because he wasn't strong enough. He supposed to be stronger in the Force, but he's really not there.
The whole... I'm in a scout trooper outfit. I can run around every place
too.
in the world with it. And he didn't use any of his force powers at all.
Yeah.
Well, here's the weird thing, too. Some places you just kind of saunter over and walk up to,
Yeah.
and then they were sneaking around.
Yeah.
That doesn't look weird at all, huh? A scout trooper, skulking around, you know, sneaking around.
Then you got Thrawn right there. And
Yeah.
he comes walking out from behind a panel.
Yeah, that wasn't awkward at all.
And
It's okay.
he's telling the stormtroopers to back up.
Not even Thrawn going, where the heck did you come from? You know,
Yeah. That's why I think he shot him more so than
actually, we could...
than knowing that
I
Yeah.
got it. We could cut in the scene from Chewie earlier.
yeah, that would be awesome.
I was gonna say they should have walked around this episode like we saw Han and everybody walking up the hallway and walking right by some generals just to put the gun by your side for a second. Like, okay, we're okay, keep walking. That
Yeah,
was a
just
reference to one of those
Film Nation things.
things
Yeah.
we saw. If you get a chance to see
Just
it, it's a
before
hilarious
Leia-
moment.
Just before Leia goes, you came in that thing?
Yeah, there's extra part to that scene, and it was
It's
funny.
actually kind
and
of funny.
and it's cut out completely.
Yeah, awkward but funny all at the same time. So, Eric, what would you rate this one?
I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a 6. I'll agree with Gary. I was going to give it a 5, but here's why. I'm going to give it a 6. I'm giving it 5 points for Thrawn.
Okay.
Same as Gary. All those points go to Thrawn. I'm giving it 1 point for the crashed ship and the story of the fact that Chopper was a rescue.
Okay.
And now we know
We
how
didn't
Hera
talk
got
about
him.
that. Yeah.
Hera got it was a little cheesy and weird that Chopper was sentimental about it, but at the same point, the story that he has a longer story that he was the R2 unit in someone's Y-wing as part of the Clone Wars, and there's obviously more to him as well. That that she kind of rescued and adopted him, and he became her droid, and there's a connection there. There was a lot told in that 15-second moment. I was going to say 2 seconds. It was a little longer than that. 15 seconds of film gave me an interesting little connection between Hera and that droid. So 1 point for that, 5 for Thrawn. The rest was just dredge.
It makes me think, too, and I got to go back, Gary, that when we had the Twi'lek home planet on Clone Wars, wasn't there, in the first, it was a 3-part story arc, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
In the first story, wasn't there a Y-wing battle in space?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm wondering if all the way back in the Clone Wars, they had drawn Chopper into one of those Y-wings.
Be interesting to go look.
I want to go back and look at that episode now and see if you can see a Chopper-like droid
That would be
in one of the
interesting.
Y-wings. And
Or
they
what if
worked
there's
it
even
all
a-
the way back to the Clone Wars.
What if there's even a shot cut in where one goes, "Wah, wah, wah," and they're flying around, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, they put Chopper in there.
and we
years
just
ago.
didn't
You don't know
realize
it.
it at the time.
Go back and look.
Or
Or-
didn't realize the significance of it.
Or as little as you see when Y-wing gets shot and
Going
Yeah, it
towards
goes
the
down to the
planet.
planet. Yeah, and that's the one.
Right.
And I just kind of, as you talked about that backstory, that kind of occurred to me that while there was actually a story on that
Right.
planet, and
So
and
that's
it
why
was-
I have
it
to
could-
give that just
Okay.
that one moment a whole point, because I think it was
It was a
kind
good
of cool.
moment. Yep. I was going to give it a 5. I'm going to stick by my 5. It's just one of those weird episodes that runs right down the middle of the line. There are cool moments like that. The Thrawn moment was cool. The way Thrawn talks to people, the way he analyzes them like. It's weird, but it's cool at the same time. It's exactly what I pictured out of Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's exactly what I pictured out of the character.
I like that he let them go.
Right.
Because he has a bigger end game. He's like, yeah, I can shoot these guys down, but if I let them go, it's going to lead me to bigger
and he has respect for his prey. Remember, he said they earned their way out of this one.
And the one thing I also liked about it was when he lost his cool.
Yes,
that was a neat. I never saw him ever do that in the book.
No,
he never lost his cool, and to show that in this was actually a neat scene.
Now Pelion lost his cool in the book.
Oh, Pelion lost
all the time, but we've never seen Thrawn lose his cool. So that was kind of an interesting take
because he could never, he couldn't figure out Thrawn.
Right, he was always getting mad because Thrawn would tell him to do something, he'd never know why. It didn't make sense to him, and then he'd go crazy.
And you never attack anything.
Right, exactly.
When Pelion thought he should.
Right. Yeah, like crush it, and Thrawn wouldn't, and you wouldn't find out till, 40 pages later that Thrawn had let them go so he could track them and find the group or whatever it is he was going after. So yeah, I mean that part of it, Thrawn was good, but I mean the blocking, awful. Just we've talked about that enough. I thought the use of the speeder bikes was awful. I thought the use of the troop transport was awful. They were useless, pointless. The walker kind of made sense. There's just a lot of things in this episode. Hera's home planet, and I know everybody's like, "Well, wow, look what." It didn't look great.
There was no detail to it.
Like when it got to like the point where Ezra and Hera are looking at her home, and he's like, "Wow, that's such a nice home," and I'm like, "What? Where? Like, did I miss a part of this somewhere?" Or?
There is a very clear through line, a design scheme to Rebels.
Yeah,
where all the planets are very similar. They are vast expanses of flatness with nothing, with things popping up in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle.
They don't feel like real worlds with hills and valleys and whatever. They feel very, very staged.
Archaic almost, yeah.
Which is a throwback, well, not really a throwback, but an abstract from the Clone Wars, because the Clone Wars are so detailed.
On the planets in particular.
Yeah,
I agree with you. We're almost, and it's almost like they need to take what they did in the Clone Wars.
I think that's why I didn't remember this planet, because it wasn't as detailed as it was in Clone Wars. Like, there wasn't, like...
Well, it was in the Clone Wars.
Well, in the Clone Wars, it was all a bunch of huts and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been under attack for 30-plus years.
I mean, I guess I didn't think about that. But they also did have divots in the ground, though, in Clone Wars.
So as far as the planet would be just pretty much destroyed, in my opinion.
Something else I've noticed is almost every planet we've been to doesn't have, like, trees and foliage.
Yeah.
They're barren.
They're barren.
It's like, where...
There is a little bit of grass. Not much.
I mean, well, even like Ezra's planet, big, large fields. Great. Where's the forests?
Right.
Where's the things that are causing, the rainstorms and balancing out the environmental, flow and ebb and all that? No, you got these big, flat expanses.
It's almost like they need to take what they did with the Clone Wars and marry it with what they did with the Rebels and have a little child. Because between the two of them, the ideas would probably be there. You know what I mean? Like, not too much foliage, but better than barren planet. You know what I mean? Like,
not necessarily.
You don't think so?
You could get the other aspect of that, too,
What's that?
Too much of everything else.
Well, that's kind of what I thought. Clone Wars at times got to be. I mean, we talked.
You have all these trees in one scene, and you have barren wasteland in the next.
Yeah.
Well,
we did talk about that with Clone Wars. They would do that. They'd be walking along, and all of a sudden, wang! You're in the desert, and you're like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
where did the forest go?"
Was that Wang or Wong?
Wong. Yeah. Wow. So that's one of the reasons I give it 5 blocking. I actually thought this is going to sound awful. The script for this episode was awful.
It was cliche written.
It was very cliche written, and honestly, the storyline was just not well put together. And I just felt like you said, somebody had sat down on a Sunday afternoon and quick wrote out a script on a napkin and said, "Here,
it's Austin's first script."
And then someone came along and said, "Okay, I'm going to spend about 2 weeks thinking up some cool Thrawn stuff."
Yeah, stuff to go in there. And the sad part of it all is it's kind of a shame because it's Hera.
I know. I wanted it to
like
be better.
Hera, and I wanted it to be better. Okay, so I really don't think there's much more we can say about this episode. Those are our thoughts. Head on over to GalaxyCast.com. Click on that section that says Contact Us. Let us know more. Let us know if you thought the same way we did about this episode of Star Wars Rebels. I mean, I think we were pretty dead on pretty close to each other. Tara might have been a little harsh, but hey, I love her anyway. So, do you agree with us? Do you agree with Tara? Were you harsh on this episode? Maybe you were in love with it. Did somebody give it a 10? So, again, contact us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the Wonder Woman trailer. Let us know what you think about Luke's robes. And let us know what you think about, going back and seeing some of A New Hope in its original form, in its raw form. So, as we always like to say here in the Star Production Studios,
May the Force be with those who listen.
We're getting really good at that part.
To Jedi Killer Dillian.
Okay, folks in Videoland, have a good one. Till next time.
Bye.